Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds.
Recently, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous two-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass?" So to recap, we're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month.
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
That's a Norm, is that? That's per Norm. Not Norman, but Norm.
Per Norman. Right. It's going to be... we're also having like a bit of blue sky thinking tonight on, because we do have a week to fill coming up soon, and we need to come up with things to do that week. So we're going to... Any ideas are going... I've got a notepad open. Any ideas are going straight on that.
I've got one. Have the week off.
The bar week.
No, because we're going to have to preview the Super Bowl as well, aren't we?
That's my pad right here. Look, I'm doing it old school. Old school.
Nice.
And no one's going to be able to fucking read it afterwards.
I'm doing it old school because I'm no fool. Because I'm so cool.
So I'm thinking, like, because next week we'll be able to react to the divisional games, and then the week after that we'll be able to preview the Super Bowl. So we've got kind of 2 half shows. So we're going to need to fill it with some kind of shit, and I don't want it to be one of Dazzla's quizzes.
Oh God, I had so much entertainment with my quizzes throughout the season.
Maybe you did. No one's denying that you thoroughly enjoyed it.
I think we'd have to have a darts quiz in keeping with the previous 17 shows.
Yeah, the darts content I did increase somewhat during the World Championship.
Yeah, that's a bullseye.
That's going to be of great interest. We do have some people who listen from America, because I can see where the downloads are, which makes me think, I wonder what they think of the darts content.
Thank you, Adam.
No, it's more than just Adam, unless Adam's got about like 30 odd devices every week.
That's quite baffling to me, that is, that an American would listen to us.
I don't know, maybe it's because or there might be expats.
Yeah. What you mean, like Tom Brady, Mike Vrabel, Bill Belichick?
Yeah, the thing, that's why the American NFL podcasts just don't have that level of shit pun. although they probably do, to be fair.
Yeah, they probably will do. Yeah. So I'm representing Washington from the UK.
Touchline report sort of thing.
Yeah. So they go over and...
Are you actually going to watch it this week, or are you just going to say, do you mind? I've actually gone to bed. I'm going to watch it in the morning. It's a bit late for me. It's 8 o'clock kickoff.
Actually, I didn't go to bed until about 20 to 5. Thank you.
I went to bed early because I was shitted.
Well, this is
well done for staying up once to watch your team play.
Yeah. So I went to bed at 20 to 5, and I'm up again at 7:45 because I had to get up. There you go. That's commitment.
Well, when it's a divisional championship, you've got.
Yeah, it's massive, isn't it?
It's not like
Brian, a divisional championship is a game where you've won a playoff game.
It's like a semi-final.
Yeah.
It's like a Super Bowl semi-final. Think of it that way, Brian.
I think you had something about this, Greggles, didn't you? About Dallas Cowboys and the conference game, or
that's a tremendous stat, isn't it? Out of the NFC teams, they've all appeared in the NFC Championship game this century, apart from Dallas.
Wow!
Even the Cardinals have.
Did you say apart from the Cowboys?
So 15 of the 16 teams have done it, yeah, and one hasn't. So that's consistently rubbish for a quarter of a century. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Lions, because obviously they've been decimated with the OC and DC both departed.
Departures.
So I'm sure Edgy's up to speed on it, but
I
Ben
mean, yeah,
Johnson, who we
Jets
talked
going
about.
for what's his name, Aaron Glenn.
Glenn,
Yeah.
Who could believe that?
Jets always missed that bit of spark on offense. So they had Robert Saleh as a defensive guru.
Good defensive coach, yeah.
And they've just gone for Aaron Glenn, another defensive coach.
And they've already got rid of their OC earlier in the season, which means that they need to bring in an OC regardless.
Yeah.
Fuck knows. But who knows how the Jets work?
No one knows. Even they don't know. And it's good to see the Patriots obviously got Mike Vrabel, and one of his first appointments, offensive coordinator. Josh McDaniels, yeah, again. How many times is that? Now he's been at Patriots.
I'll tell you what their thought process there is. Drake May looking good, steadily improving as the season went on. How can we stunt his growth? I know we'll get Josh McDaniels back to ruin him.
But can we talk about football in Washington yet or not?
No, we'll get to it in time. Don't worry. Me and Edgy were discussing this actually. We said if we went on the preamble long enough, we won't have time to talk about the football. So it's.
I think this section, when it first started, was going back to the Lions, and they've been decimated by the departure of not only the defensive coordinator, who's obviously gone to Chicago, which is a bit.
No. The Ben Johnson's gone to Chicago.
Yeah, the defensive coordinator.
He's going to link up with his name's gone as well. But they're looking at bringing like a head coach and two other coordinators in. Yeah. I can't remember which names they were the other day. They were better names than Josh McDaniel. I know that much.
But I think for Chicago, that's a fantastic signing for Chicago, because I don't think Chicago have bad players. I think they have some good players. What they don't have, they've all agreed on during the season, they don't have an offensive line. And possibly the defensive back's not the best. But tell you what, give them a good draft, a good free agent and agency, I think they'd be right up there. So the Lions,
as I said last summer, it's a good starting point.
It is. So the Lions season ended 4 days ago. Since then, they've lost offensive coordinator.
Since then, Daz has been wanking furiously.
And during offensive coordinator Ben Johnson's gone to the Bears as head coach. Defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn has gone to the head coach of the Jets. Defensive line coach Terrell Williams has gone to the Patriots. A defensive coordinator. I think he was at the Titans when Vrabel was there. And offensive line coach Hank Fraley is in the mix for the Seahawks offensive coordinator job. So it's going to be hard for Detroit to get back to where they were. Yeah, but the Aaron Glenn one. The Aaron Glenn one to the Jets. He's getting his stuff together. And to be fair, it's not a bad sort of thing. It's Steve Wilkes as defensive coordinator. His dad, you've probably known Henry. Mark Brunell, ex-Washington quarterback, and of course Jacksonville Jaguars with Brunell, wasn't he? Chris Banjo as a special,
bridge.
Yeah, Chris Banjo as a special teams coach. That one made me laugh really, because I'm not really familiar with Chris Banjo, but I'm thinking special teams coach. How many strikers do we have? And they come hit a buddy banjo with a barn door with a banjo with a ball.
Oh yeah, hit a banjo with a barn door would actually be really difficult.
Yeah, exactly.
Review of last week's games.
Last weekend was the divisional round in the actual NFL.
Way.
Yeah, in the actual NFL. So I just noticed the time and thought we haven't actually started talking about this yet.
Please.
And it started. I think the 4 best teams from last weekend were the 4 teams who didn't have any turnovers, and one of them was in this game. It finished Texans 14, Chiefs 23, and this was a pretty straightforward, dominant performance by the Chiefs. They were not helped in any way by any dubious decision.
Wow.
Sarcasm. Got it.
Just a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I think on the night, it was even picked up in commentary, wasn't it? Even picked up on commentary that he said, "No way, you got to be joking." Who was it? Was it Aikman or Romo?
It was Aikman. It was Aikman,
was it? Yeah, Aikman. Yeah, even he couldn't believe it.
And he must hate the fucking Texans. He's a Dallas.
Yeah.
One, yeah. So he must hate the Texans.
So I think what the most embarrassing thing was those 2 penalties on him. And bear in mind, when he's out of the pocket and running, he's a running back. He's not a quarterback. He's a running back. He didn't even get touched, really. The 2 Texans.
The 2 guys hit each other more than it.
Yeah, exactly.
Glanced his head more.
Yeah, so that was bullshit. But the one that I would have called, and I don't understand why VAR didn't get involved, or a retrospective ban, is when he got to the sidelines and he was waiting to be hit, and he took a massive flop there.
You expect that in
took
the
a
Premier
dive.
League, don't you?
Yeah.
Not the NL.
I do know, and it was quite right. Was the player to hit him because he was still
He
in
was
bounds
still
when
in
he hit him.
bounds.
Still in bounds.
Well, we were talking about that the other week. I can't remember what game we were watching, and a player did that, and they were still in bounds, and they got hit. And you go, well, that's because he was slowing down before he went out of bounds. Get the fuck out! I'd get out of bounds as quick as possible if I was being chased by one of those guys.
Yeah, but yeah, I find it ridiculous. Made that
those 2 drives that those dodgy penalties were given on. They're both 15-yard penalties on 3rd downs.
3rd downs, yeah.
They got 10 points from those 2 drives. They won by 9.
Yeah.
Not saying the 2 things are directly related, but
I still think they would have won without them. But yeah, it was
then why do them?
Yeah, well, I mean,
the game was tight at the time, and
the argument is, the calls they unless they have paid them off, but they're made. No one's going to say, "Oh, we refuse to take those penalties because we don't agree with them."
I'm not saying the Chiefs have bribed the refs or anything like that, but there is an argument that the NFL benefit from having their poster boy do well.
Yeah, big team bias.
It used to be the guy at New England who you get all these calls. Now it's the guy at the Chiefs who gets all these calls.
Yeah, but shocking.
And also, I put it in Discord. This is during the first half. I was so it was before the second of those 15-yard penalties. I said the fix is in. Edgy was right. I put it in.
Well, it started off like that. From the kickoff on the first drive, and then they got half the distance to the goal penalty from the kickoff. I can't remember what it was for now, but
they did a return, and then
that's right. Yeah,
They very quickly decided that the Chiefs had recovered a fumble, despite the Texans guy coming up with the ball.
Yeah, and you just thought from that moment on, you think, hang on a minute. But in regards to those sort of roughing calls, there was a hit, I think, that one of the Washington boys did on Jared Goff, and that would have been assault in most places, and he got nothing for it. And
I disagree with that.
What?
That
it was a hit. All right.
No. You've got to look at it contextually, which you didn't.
Why?
Because it's
because he supports Washington.
No. It's different because he was in the vicinity of a pick six. So he was deemed then a person going to tackle, so he was up for being blocked, and Louvery blocks him.
How do you know which tackle I'm on about?
Because I know which one, the one they got carted off with, that saying it was a bad hit. It was a bad hit. I'm not saying that, but for his own safety, he should be nowhere near the ball. If he's going to go for tackle, but he needs to be aware, way more aware.
In respect to that, but
we can come on to the Washington Thugs later.
That second one on Mahomes, where like we said, the two Texan players, they hit each other, and Mahomes just happened to get his head scraped, which is bullshit.
It's not a penalty. It's not a penalty. They're alone 15 yards. It's not a penalty.
No.
Bullshit goal.
He's a runner, and he's given himself up, and also he's given himself up very late as a runner. It's a shit decision, and the fact that Aikman on the commentary, his reaction just said it all, didn't it? He went, oh, come on.
I think they went to the rules guy as well, Gene
Stereotor.
Yeah, whatever his name is.
Gene back the refs.
Well, they basically sort of asked him his opinion, and there was, before each time he did it, there was like a brief 2-second pause, and that told you everything.
Even he couldn't agree.
He did his best. He
always backs the refs, and even he couldn't in those two. I just think it was shit because the wildcard weekend was quite poor, I thought, in terms of the actual quality of the games. This weekend was so much better, and it's shit that was such a good game, and it's whether it was decided by those decisions or not, we don't know. But it made it a less competitive game because the Texans knew at that point they weren't getting anything. So
Yeah.
I think it's a shame, and it concerns me going into the championship game.
What, the Chiefs will get the same treatment?
Yeah, they can't do now. Sure, it's got to go the other way now. It's got to be, oh, he's just twatted Mahomes there. You know, Edgy and referee's not going to throw it because
I
he's
hope
on
it
the...
does.
Yeah.
I hope the Bills get a free hit on Mahomes every play, but it seems that if it's so obvious that it was going to happen, just left a bit of a bad taste in the mouth that game. And it's not the Chiefs' fault that, like I say, they're not going to turn around and go, "Don't give us the penalty," but they weren't appealing for those ones.
But just going back to the game as well, there, I don't think it was Stroud's best moment as a quarterback.
No,
he seemed to drop a rabbit in the headlights sort of thing. Was sacked 8 times. Carl Lafetis, 3 sacks.
But they were destroying them on the run game. They were absolutely destroying them on the run.
Mm-hmm. So the defense, the Chiefs again, I think, win that one rather than the offense.
You say that, didn't they get 100 yards offense more than the Chiefs, the Texans?
They did, yeah. Was it the first championship game, the divisional game, where the losing team sort of out-yarded the...
Yeah.
And had
100 yards is a big deal on that. But that's because a lot of the Chiefs' yards don't go down as offensive yards because they came from penalties.
Like you said, Edgy, good night for Kelsey. 7 receptions, 117 yards, and 1 touchdown. But what I did find about Kelsey's yards, I can't understand how open some of those plays he was.
Yeah, loads of times.
Yeah, free. There's no one with him in like 10 yards. No, he's not quick, Kelsey, but it doesn't matter how quick.
Doesn't need to be, does it?
No, he's got it.
Yeah, but he did the slowest 40-yard gain I've ever seen in one of those plays.
It was slow motion, but what with the
40 yards after the catch, which took about 30 seconds, I think.
Yeah, isn't it weird how there were just no Texans around, or you thought would be their danger man? It's just strange.
That's from those ones where Mahomes extends the play, isn't it? Where he looks like he's going to get sacked, he escapes. All of a sudden, the defensive coverage is gone.
Well, that's the touchdown all over, isn't it?
Yeah, he does that better than anyone, Mahomes. Unfortunately,
we've got some news in there. Just come in.
Is this breaking
news?
It's almost like Patrick Mahomes is listening to this very live Twitch podcast, whatever it is, and even though is it under news, I've just got someone's flashed it at me.
Rich Eisen sending you.
Well, I've just got it on
I mean, if you have to ask if something's news or not, I'm guessing it's not news.
So no, this is interesting. Just basically just what we come on to. They've just done about talking to, I can't find it, but it was there a second ago. On about Patrick Mahomes, and he's saying that he doesn't have protection from the referees. Far from it. That's what he's saying.
Well, that's not news. That's lying.
Not my words. They are the words of the man himself.
Patrick, you're a liar.
So yeah, interesting.
Although I dare say Brady said the same thing, didn't
he? He did own up to trying to draw that foul on the sidelines, though, didn't he?
Yeah, he realised there were cameras there, and they could see what he was doing.
In Mahomes' words, he says, "I don't feel that way. The referees are doing their best to call the game as fair and as proper as they can."
Man of 1,000 voices.
Next week.
Couldn't be with us tonight. Unfortunately, he's got Daz to fill in.
So the referee of the game, Clay Martin, came out and talked to, I think it's a radio station, KPR2. He said after the game that the first call was due to forcible contact to the face mask area, while the second was because Mahomes was considered defenseless when sliding. The onus is on the player, Martin said, about hitting a sliding player.
Is he not aware that they had cameras at the game as well?
Exactly. Yes.
It'd be bad enough just when they go, "Sorry, I got that wrong," but when they refuse to even accept that they got it wrong, despite there being video proof.
Well, I think next year, I think all big calls like this will be reviewed. I think there's something like that is.
Yeah, but
going to be there.
that's the problem, though. They are actually looking at them and still getting them wrong.
Or referee will change the
for,
game again.
for fuck's sake. Right.
We'll try
Commanders
to delay
45, Lions 31.
Go on,
No one's
Daz.
got anything to say. Wait, stop.
Look, come on,
Oh.
watch this. We've got to admit, right, whether Washington won this game or not, what a good game this was.
Was a good game.
It was
really
a good
was.
game. Well, it was a good game if you like offensive football. Defenses were all over the fucking shop.
Forget about defense. But when we went 7-3, I think it was 7-3 down. I'm thinking this is going to be a long day. It didn't look like we're going to stop anything. But I don't know. I think JD5.
I'm not even
What?
No, yeah, but he played so well for a rookie quarterback. He's poised in the pocket. Some of those passes. There was one pass actually to John Brown, and it was into the near corner to John Brown, and had the defender on it, and slow motion, his hands coming to his face, match like that, and he still caught it, but it was right on the money, and yeah, proper chuffed.
I think I commented at the time it was a game where there was a rookie quarterback and a veteran quarterback, but you wouldn't have known who was who from that.
I think sometimes it can be the best time to have these big games if you're a rookie, though. I remember back in the day when Big Ben first played for us, and because you're playing with no fear at that point.
That's exactly.
And his first season was one of his best seasons for the Steelers. Because he comes straight out of college, he's never known to anything other than being like a successful quarterback. And he's going into a team that isn't struggling, which doesn't happen that often. So he just went on a winning run. I think he won his first 14 games as a starter. And it was almost like when he finally did lose, it just hit him. And he wasn't as good the following year. And it took him a little while to actually get his mojo back again. But he was playing with absolutely no fear in those games. And he was just, because he had such a big arm on him, he was going for all these big plays and connected on them. And Daniels was playing that kind of way at the weekend.
I think Washington's have done that all season where they've got nothing to lose. It frees up a lot of nerves and everything. They've brought in some good leaders like Bobby Wagner. I think he's been great on defense. Marshawn Latimer had a great game. He gave up 0 catches and defended, I think, 5 passes and didn't get through to a wide receiver. I think the picks. We need to talk about the picks. Jared Goff. He almost looked like I was thinking. I'm trying to compare him to a quarterback, and I think that's the more Sam Darnold of years gone past performances. He
went into desperation mode too early.
You did.
He went in it was still the third quarter. He got so much time left, and yet he was
panicking.
Yeah, I think he got that wrong in that game. Also, we got to mention the opening possession, I think, for Washington, where Detroit lost their corner.
Yes,
that was a big deal as well because they had enough defensive players missing, and fair play to Washington for going, fuck it, we're going to go and target them deep because why not? Why not? You know they're missing players there.
I think another bad call, of course, was that interception as well from that. They seem to get very gimmicky, haven't they, in the last 3-4 weeks, Detroit? They come out with these, the one if you where
they've done that all
Jamison
season.
Williams throw.
Yeah. But I think it's been more highlighted over the last 3-4 weeks where it looked like Goff were falling and stumbling and they were doing this and other. I think one of these days.
I know, he did fall on that one.
Well, and finally, it backfired, and he should never have thrown that ball. It was just silly play. If it's not on, don't throw it like that. Just take a sack, run out of bounds, throw it out of bounds, but just don't do that. Just too many mistakes from the Lions offense, I think.
Performance of the game for me, Washington on 4th down. Huge plays there.
We were stopped on first one as well.
It's okay to always think if you're 50 yards, between like 50 and 30 yards, anywhere where it'd be unlikely to make a field goal, but you're not in immediate danger of giving up points.
And we can't.
I always think 4th and short there is always worth going for.
Look, we had a a kicker, Gonzalez, who's not great. He doinked that one against the Bucks from 20 whatever yards, and like another yard back, it's hit the post, fall on and come back. So you can't really trust him to kick three. So yeah, I think that's why we have to go for four on fourth down. But here's an interesting stat that was sent to me from NFL insider Dirk Van Dyke. So Terry McLaurin, right, since his time at Washington, before Jaden Daniels, he's had a quarterback, Case Keenum. G'll know this one, Dwayne Haskins, unfortunately not with us anymore. Colt McCoy, Alex Smith, Kyle Allen, Taylor Haneke, everyone's favourite quarterback next, Garrett Gilbert. No, me neither. Ryan.
No, I remember him. I remember him because he's got shit quarterback name.
Yeah.
I've never heard of any of these.
Yeah, to go with shit, it's Ryan Fitzpatrick, Carson Wentz. Yeah, there he is behind G. Ryan, he came in for one game, got injured, and never played again. Carson Wentz and Sam Howell. So he's played with all those quarterbacks.
You've had some shit, haven't you?
We've had some bad quarterbacks.
Is this? I can't remember exactly how many seasons it is, but is it 8 consecutive years with a different starting quarterback?
Yeah, it will be.
And McLaurin stayed there.
McLaurin has stayed there to his, absolutely fantastic. So there's a little quote here. If you're ever sad, just remember the world is 4.543 billion years old, and yet you somehow managed to exist at the exact same time as JD5. Just
JD Con.
But our chances against Eagles, I didn't fancy it at all. I did want the Rams well, we're gonna move on. We will do. But
I reckon the Eagles were benefited a lot from that game being in Philly.
Massively, absolutely massively. I just want to touch back on our running game. It didn't get going really.
I tried, Edgy. I really tried.
Yeah. Not a chance. How many times do we get in conference games? Robinson, I thought, run well downhill. 2 touchdowns for him. McNichols got a touchdown. Eckler did well. Edgy alluded to it. 4th down conversions were excellent. I just think that's Washington in a team. That's the only way we can beat anyone is play like that.
Full throttle.
Yeah, we've got to do. Or else we'll just get torn apart, really. Time of possession, we had 7 minutes more. Detroit had 50 yards more total. Running wise, I didn't realise we put 182 yards. They put up 201, and that's where I fear for Washington. Their run at defence is.
Well, you said this last week, didn't you?
Yeah.
Obviously, coming up against Goff, who obviously is a great player, but you don't need to defend against his.
That's
run.
right. That's right.
He's a pocket passer.
Yeah.
You know what he's going to do. You defend against it. When you're going to be facing Hurts next week, it's a different.
Yeah, I think what also didn't work out for the Lions, I don't think Montgomery was ready.
He's not fit. He's not fully fit.
I think they gave him the ball too much in the first half, and it was obvious that he wasn't ready for it. They should have just overloaded Gibbs and then just maybe given him the odd play here and there. I think they lost a lot. They lost a lot of yards by handing it to Montgomery in that game.
Yeah, I think you're right as well. What you said, Jay. I think they went into panic mode too quick and give up on the run because Gibbs had 14 carries, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns, and you think, well, that's where you're going to score. Just keep giving him the ball. Teddy Bridgewater came in, of course, for that one play. Who looked like I didn't recognise him at first. To be fair, Amon Ross St. Brown 8 catches, 137 yards, no touchdown. But Gibbs he had 70 yards in the air as well. So altogether, he had 175 yards. All-purpose yards.
Yeah, well, it was never going to be. I mean, going back maybe 6 weeks or something like that, 7 weeks, I expressed my doubts over whether the Lions would reach the Super Bowl when they had all those injuries on defense, and that's what caught up with them in the end. They putting up 31 points in a playoff game, that should do you good to get through, but they were running on empty on defense for probably the last month of the season. He just caught up with them, I think, as well. But fair play to Washington for going for the juggler and going, fuck it. If we're going down, we're going down fucking on big plays.
Yeah.
Let's go on to the Rams 22, Eagles 28. This was a great game. I thought. I love it when the fucking conditions just wait until kickoff and then go, right, let's fuck this game up and
Great
see what
leveler.
happens. Well, I don't think it was a great level. I think it benefited Philly so much as opposed to the team from California to have to play in these conditions. But it definitely impacted the Eagles' ability to pass. Whereas Matt Stafford, 300 plus yards, I think, in those.
Yeah, 324
conditions.
yards, 2 touchdowns. Yeah.
Fair play to him for playing that way in those conditions.
I think
you
the
kind of had to a bit, but
yeah, the most costly play was I think when Williams fumbled that and give it away. I think me and you disagree on this one, G's, where when it come down to the end, I think they got to 2nd down and 3, and it must have been on the 12, 13-yard line.
Minute and 19 left.
Yeah, and they've run out of timeouts. I get that. But I'm thinking you need 3 yards. You've got 2 players. I'd run it. And if you get 2 yards there, you need a yard, run it again. I don't think it was the conditions to when the field's so condensed, you've got to have 2 runs there. And even then you get it down, you'd be down to 40 seconds. Spike it, because one thing the Eagles have 3 timeouts left. And if you're going to leave them 40 seconds with 3 timeouts with that offense, they can hurt you.
Yeah, what I liked about that game was more than anything, the true MVP of the season, Saquon Barkley, fucking amazing.
Yeah, I don't like the Eagles
in those conditions to do that.
I don't like the Eagles, obviously a divisional rival, but there was that one play where it zoomed him onto the eyes of the quarterback, Hurts, and Barkley, and he's had a word. He goes, "No, give it me. I'm just going to score here." Yeah, and he looked to the left, and he goes, "Yeah, give it me." And he like said, "Oh, there you go." And he went down and just touchdown. As soon as he broke it.
With that touchdown though, he only broke 1 tackle. Yeah, there was just no secondary at all. And you think,
but the thing is, everyone else was like clearly struggling to some extent with the conditions. It didn't seem to affect him. He was able to like change direction and stuff like that no one else was able to do. And also, bear in mind that towards the end, he actually went down deliberately. So even more yards he could have got on that final drive. He probably could have gone to the end zone again on that last play, but just doesn't need to.
So selfless.
I believe this year, if you took all the touchdowns of over 50 yards, passing and rushing, a 5th of those are by Saquon Barkley.
No,
I just want to. That's fantastic. But can I just go back to the Rams defense?
I thought you were going to say fucking Washington.
I did as well.
Yeah, yes, you were allowed to go back to the Rams.
Did I say Rams? I meant the Commanders. Sorry, no. Just going back to the Rams. I watched the Rams because I'm interested, thinking if Eagles win, or if they lose, or whatever. If they win, how are they going to go against Barkley? Me and G were speaking about this before, and I don't think Jalen Hurts has got any better from when they won the Super Bowl. I don't think he's a great quarterback. I think he gets sacked too easy. I think he makes his first read, and if it's not there, he panics. But I watched the Rams, and looking at his stats, 26 carries, 2 touchdowns, 205 yards for Barkley, longest is 78. You look at the figures like that and you think, wow, that's impressive numbers. And they are impressive numbers. Then I broke it down watching it. There were so many stops of Barkley for 0 yards, 2 yards, 3 yards, 2 yards. Then he broke out. And what the Rams were doing was trying to bait the Eagles into passing the ball and trying to stuff the box, if you pardon pun, stuff the box with defenders. And the problem with that is you get 8 or 9 that come up to the line, and you make your defensive line very thin. You've basically got 9 people on the line coming up trying to close holes. All appears, and let's face it, the Eagles have probably got the best offensive line in football at the moment. Yeah. All it needs is one hole, and straight away Barkley's into open field, and no safety's going to catch him, no matter who you are. So I think it broke out maybe 3-4 times for big runs, which bolstered his yards. I think Washington will have to play the same way. I think they're going to have to gamble and try and make Hurts throw the ball. But Barkley's so quick, we don't have a linebacker really to match anywhere near the pace of Barkley, but no one does.
The best result of the weekend, probably the best game of the weekend, really, in terms of start to finish. Ravens 25, Bills 27. This was good from the moment Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Is that who's behind you?
Yeah.
Okay, context, please.
Cheerleading for the Bills, essentially.
It's just a glorified Jason Kelsey.
So
like
the dude that's behind
he's top man.
The dude that's behind Greg, who is it?
Ryan
Fitzmagic.
Right.
Fitzmagic, yeah.
Who did he play for?
He played for us one game and got knocked out the rest of the season, then retired. Before that, he was the Jets. I think he's played for
Will
Patriots.
he be quicker to say who he hasn't played for?
I'm going to say, yeah.
All right, what's the context of the photo?
He was essentially doing a TV thing and was kind of... Is he a Buffalo lad?
I think it must be.
Well,
he went to Harvard, didn't he?
It's a local team, or he's tied to the Buffalo area anyway. So even in sub-zero temperatures, he decided to get the crowd fired up before the kickoff. Is
this from Sunday then? This picture?
Yeah.
Ah, right. So he was doing like commentary and whatnot.
No, he wasn't doing commentary. He essentially he was doing. Was he there as a pundit? But before the game, he kind of went on the pitch with the microphone. He was like getting the crowd going, worked up, and that kind of thing.
He looks like a Newcastle fan.
And thought the best way of doing that was shirt off and fucking come on to the crowd.
Fair play.
He's a good guy, but I think he's probably a little too colourful to ever get like one of the regular commentating gigs.
Yeah,
but he's what is known as a character.
Okay.
Yeah, I found this one. They won it, the Bills, but don't they win it with probably not the right word here, with mediocrity, as in Josh Allen stands out as a quarterback, but only threw for 127 yards, no touchdowns. He had 2 touchdowns on the floor, but when you look at the stats, when you look at the Bill stats, they're never amazing stats.
No,
Alan Matt.
But second half, I think they went quite conservative in terms of the play calling because they had the lead.
Yeah.
So I think that might be why that the stats are a little bit misleading because they'll be more focused on the second half. First half, I thought they were fantastic and they were dominating it, and I'm surprised they weren't leading by more.
I don't think Lamar Jackson will ever win a Super Bowl. I think this is as far as that team goes. As far as they've gone, I think this is it. I don't think they'll ever pull up trees. Lamar Jackson will go into the Hall of Fame, but just because the number of MVPs
based on regular season.
Yeah, based on that alone, I just don't think Lamar Jackson will ever go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks ever.
I think they need to get a better receiving core.
I don't know. The pick was his fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fumble was his fault.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Andrews is getting a lot of stick for that 2-point drop.
He's getting death threats.
That's a bad pass as well. That has gone low and behind him. He's moving to the corner. He's got to turn back and adjust to try and pick up that low pass. That's why he dropped it. And there's no reason for that pass to be that low.
He's got form for it, hasn't he, Andrews?
2 years ago, 2-point play against the Steelers to try and
wasn't it the
game.
Same play as well?
Exactly the same play. Similarly, I think Jackson slightly overthrew that one. This one he's
underthrown it.
Next year he'll get it.
Same result.
But you're right, Edgy. I think the receiving core didn't help because Zay Flowers was ruled out before the game, and he's like their speedster, so they're relying on Likely and Andrews, Bateman. The tight ends alone had 12 targets, which they caught 9. After that, it's slim pickings. Bateman had 5 targets for
Bateman
for 4
stepped up.
receptions. He did, but I just cannot see Ravens doing anything. This year was a Ravens year. When you've got Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, and I agree with Edgy, they are 1 or 2 receivers short, and it could have been their year, but I just don't
what's
think
the
Lamar
deal with
Jackson...
Henry in terms of his contract? Because did they bring him in for just 1 year?
It was a cheapish contract, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I was under the impression he was there for more, but I don't know.
Okay, so in the off-season, the Ravens signed Derrick Henry to a 2-year, $16 million deal. So that's
So
obviously
next
got
year's
next season.
last year, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he signed a 2-year, $16 million contract, including $7.79 million signing bonus and $9 million guaranteed.
Well, he's not going to go anywhere, is he?
No,
I reckon he's just about earned that second year.
I don't think he does anything next year. I really don't.
Well, the problem is with Derrick Henry, he's been written off for the last 5 years, and he's still putting up stupid numbers. So, in that respect, I'm sure he'll do as well. Not as well, but he'll be one of the top running backs again next year. I think it's got to start affecting him at some point.
Yes,
because they not only it's one thing to keep losing in the playoffs. Some of the best teams do that, but when you're consistently losing in the playoffs, when you're the favorite, which is what's happened with Baltimore over the Lamar Jackson years. Yeah,
there's a stigma for him.
You don't want to become Pittsburgh, do you?
We're never the favourites in the playoffs.
Yeah,
and we prove why.
Which
year
probably
in, year
makes
out.
the losses more palatable when you're going into it thinking you're going to win everything and then don't. That must be even crueler.
Yeah, but that's been the situation with Baltimore over the last 5 years or whatever.
Lamar years
is that they've gone into the playoffs and everyone's gone. They're probably one of the favourites to win the Super Bowl, and despite being the favourites in. Could be the wild card, could be the divisional round, could be the AFC championship. They blow it despite being favourites. Last year, it was in the AFC championship. They were playing at home to the Chiefs. The Chiefs famously out of form last year. Go and do them in their own backyard. So this year they were at least away, but they were still actually the favourites to beat the Bills in that game.
Just dragging back to the actual game.
Should we talk about the Bills? Because
did that game solidify Allen as MVP then?
I think it should do, but will it work like that?
I mean, a lot of people were saying it was an MVP playoff, weren't they? But if anything came out the playoffs this week regarding the MVP, it probably suggested more than ever that it should be Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, but it won't be. We know
it won't be.
No.
Yeah, I was obviously pleased the Bills won. I think they've been a better team over the whole season as well. The Ravens have probably had higher highs, but also lower lows than the Bills. And you've always got to mention it with the Ravens. They lost to the Browns and Raiders this year.
Next week's predictions.
So can we have an update on the old points? I think it was very interesting.
Right. The points, as you know, were under the new system. Edgy I'll do the highlights of where the points have gone up and down, because there were two huge bets laid last week. One by Edgy, 125 on the Chiefs, which he absolutely nailed. Fair play to Edgy. And one of the other players put 150 on the Lions.
Was that you, Daz?
It doesn't matter who it was. It doesn't matter who it was. Obviously, one of the players is way out ahead, and one of the players is way behind.
Can I just add there? We obviously all had 4 selections, and we all came through with 3 wins. 3 out of 4.
We all got 3 out of 4, but in the world of the mad betting points, one person definitely came out on top, and one person definitely lost last week.
So, in true NFL fashion, as my friend Rich Eisen would say, sometimes.
Going on about Rich Eisen. You're never going to meet him.
You say that, don't you? But you never know. So we're going to do this as in my way now. So we'll just have a quick look. So out so far in the wild card and divisional games, there has been 10 games. There's 10 games been played. So at this moment in time, this is going to NFL.
Edgy, what's he talking about?
Well, he's about to brag that he's got.
No. I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not going to. No, I'm not. No, I don't brag. Anyway, out of 10 games, G sits in third place because he's got
no
five right.
No one's keeping tabs on this though. So it doesn't matter.
So G's 5 and 5.
Only one of us is.
Yeah, 5 and 5 for G in the wild card in the postseason. Very good, Edgy. Obviously, you're new to this game, but you're smashing him all over the place. You've only got 3 wrong, so you're 7 and 3, and I am at the moment. Am I right in 8 and 2?
Humble,
so,
right?
Yeah.
No, but if that matters,
thank you.
You'd
Thank
be
you very
winning
much.
this. But Edgy's winning this by a mile.
Yeah, on your point system, I'm doing a new point system.
On the point system.
No, as
it was all agreed to.
All agreed to.
That was democratically voted for and agreed.
We all know democracy doesn't work. So this was
what you're
friend.
doing here, does is you're thinking that because at the end of the regular season you had the highest score, that automatically means you've won the Super Bowl. That's not how it works.
No, absolutely not.
When it matters,
and
exactly
you've got to do it when it matters.
I'm doing it large, as I say. So 8 and 2.
You're doing it medium. You're literally in the middle at the moment.
In the postseason,
Edgy's doing it large. I'm doing it small.
8 and 2. So I'm happy with 8 and 2.
Yeah.
In what? If you were doing a competition where 8 and 2 was any good for you, then well done. Sadly,
I think 8 and 2 is a great record to have.
What I really like about this is how annoyed you are.
Oh no, I'm not annoyed. Far from it.
You literally are. The fact that you keep bringing this up every week.
Listen, if you want to play your silly post-season games, you carry on.
I mean, you don't have to join in. You've joined in the last 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, just to amuse you and Edgy, of course.
Thanks.
No worries.
I'm more in favour of you dropping out, and then I can finish.
You've lost big points, Edgy, by the way. Yeah, so G, you lost some major points.
So I mean, last week is ancient history as far as I'm concerned.
Wow.
What I like the salary cap, you can always use up some of next year's on this season, and
that starts -40 next year.
There are but 2 games. We have an Edgy on 462 points does get to go first. We have the Bills at the Chiefs.
So this is going to be really tough. This is on form. Buffalo should win this, but I believe that the fix is in, as I've been saying all season.
Edgy called it earlier than most.
I did. So I am going to stick with that, and I'm going to go with a KC.
Oh,
yeah, go on.
But you're second, so you get to go next.
Oh, we're not declaring points.
Do that after.
No, we do. I mean, we do that in a minute. We're just going for who wins first.
Okay. In that case, then, Chiefs. I can't see past Chiefs.
I mean, that F looks like a fucking L now. Who the fuck are the Cheels? Why have you gone for the Cheels, Edgy? But this game, we got the Bills, the Chiefs, the Cheels, and the Texans all playing.
This is where the repercussion of the NFL and the world watching bites Kansas City. Anyone who a referee who gives Chiefs a dodgy call is going to get scrutinised really heavily. I can't see past the Chiefs. And
have you gone for the Cheels as well?
I've gone for the Cheels, yeah. So
which is of course French for dog.
Exactly.
So I'm trying to look at where I can make ground up here.
Well, by choosing Bills would.
I reckon my best bet is to go back in time and not put all my points on the Lions.
Agreed. Yeah.
But both gone for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
There's no point in not going for the Bills. So I am going for the Bills. But I also think over the course of this season, they've been a better team than the Chiefs. They pretty comfortably beat the Chiefs earlier in this season.
They did.
Josh Allen is playing well. No one in the team is playing badly. I am going for what they call the Buffalo Bills.
Commanders at Eagles.
Commanders, I believe they're thinking of changing their name to the Washington Lion Slayers, which is less shit than Commanders, to be fair.
I'd actually agree.
So, Washington versus Philly.
The old Redskins at the
So,
Eagles.
right at the very beginning of the season, I predicted that the Super Bowl would be contested between Kansas and Philadelphia. So, really, I should be going with that. But I think, like I say, the script of sport.
2 weeks ago, you said
I did.
Chiefs against Commanders.
I did.
Yeah.
And because the script of sport, it's too tempting to review. If you look at Washington's season, how they've sort of had these miraculous last minute plays, it just seems to be that favor is on their side.
Are you hitting the narrative klaxon?
I am.
Fucking hell.
So
that's going to be a different sound effect.
Yes.
I hope you know that.
Let's just have a listen to that klaxon in full effect.
Oh, it's broken.
So I'm going to stick with the narrative, and I am going to go for a Washington win.
That wasn't the sound of a klaxon. That was the sound of Daz trying to stand up.
Yeah, I'm going for a Washington win.
Good man.
And if I'm being honest,
Daz is of course impartial when it comes to the actual.
If I'm being honest,
predictions.
all jokes aside, I would really like to see Washington win the whole thing. I think they've been fun to watch, and also obviously in support of our fellow podcasters.
All right, don't suck Daz off.
Again. Listen, I work morning.
I thought you had enough with that cat.
Wow.
So this was put out as a poll, and the least wanted Super Bowl is the Chiefs and Eagles. No one wants to see that. What they'd like to see is the Bills and Washington. You know, like going back to the glory days. That'd be a great Super Bowl. You know, it's like,
yeah, I agree.
I think that's what people want to see. Is this one game too much for Washington? I hope not, obviously, because I support Washington. But it's almost a double bluff Washington here and put 200 on the Eagles to win. To just because I know people like Frankie Louvu and Bobby Wagner listen to this and they'll think, hey, you know something? Daz has put the money on the Eagles. Come on, boys.
Uncanny.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah, I'm in the room.
I meant canny.
Yeah, canny or not, I don't know. So I'd love to see Commanders win. So I'm going to put Commanders again. Absolutely, 100%.
I think the Eagles are a much better team all round than the Commanders. I think they've got the run game that could do serious damage against quite a weak run defense that the Commanders have got. So can Saquon keep putting these performances up there? How often can he keep doing it? This season suggests he can keep doing it pretty much every week. So I'm going to go Eagles.
I do tell you a simple thing. If Washington get a big hit on Saquon early and kind of like, I don't know, injure him a little, but they do have Gainwell in there, who's a good running back as well.
Well,
he's not Barkley standard, obviously, but he's okay.
I don't know. I think the drop off between Barkley and Gainwell is like the drop off. It's like the drop off in wings between Paul and Linda McCartney, isn't it? So I don't need to point out which was which.
Still got it's not bad for him coming in as number 2 when Barkley has a rest, but when Gainwell comes in when Barkley's have a rest, it's usually a throw from Hurts. So I think if we can just get into Barkley early doors, give him big hits, saying, "Hello, I'm here. It's me, Mr. Wagner. Pleased to meet you." And
who was that? Was that an impression of Bobby Wagner?
Yeah. Because the other one,
I've never heard him sound like a fucking 1970s doorman. Right, we need to divvy up some points.
Yep.
We do 1, 2, 3 in the chat, don't we? And do it that way.
Yep. Oh yeah, let me just do that. Yep.
Trying to think of if I have a tactical approach here.
Not on this shit made up game. Points wise,
he's so annoyed. Right, count of three. Bills at Chiefs. I've gone Bills. You two have gone Chiefs.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Hold on. Number lock. Sorry. Number lock.
Oh, he's gone
Oh,
huge.
he's gone big. He's got to close that gap though, Edgy. So
Yeah, I know.
So I've gone 1. Edgy's gone 25. Daz has gone 250.
Oh, 250. I put 25.
No, you didn't. You put 250. You know me and Edgy can read. Commanders at Eagles. I've got Eagles. You two have gone Commanders. Count of 3. 1, 2, 3. I've gone 94. Edgy's gone 25. Daz has gone 10. So, should it go tits up? Edgy's playing like a fucking coward, by the way. That needs to be addressed at some point.
He's not even taking this serious.
I know. The thing, there is a rule in the Super Bowl that you have to bet all your points on it. So
that wasn't agreed.
Oh, it was.
None of it as is it?
I believe you need to check the small print. It's definitely there.
All I was doing is I've guaranteed myself second place at least. There's no way you can catch me if I bet small.
Yeah, but you've got to go all in on the Super Bowl, so it's fine.
Right.
No matter what happens,
I'll go all in. I'll get all in with my one.
Yeah.
You'll go all in with 800 and something.
There's a ruling after the Super Bowl. Greggles wins.
Like I say, you got to read the small print. It actually doesn't say that I win. It just says Daz loses.
So this is my proposition. My proposition is this. My proposition.
I mean, at least that's a 90s reference. It makes slightly different.
Yeah, we're getting a little bit more contemporary.
Stay tuned. Eventually, we'll have a 2000s reference.
What we're going to say then. So what we're going to say is this. We pick and we decide it, and we come down to 1. So I'd want you to pick QB, a running back. Okay. We'll go 2 quarterbacks, but it'll come down to 1 or 2, whatever the team fits. Wide receivers, we'll go for 4. Tight ends, we'll go for 3, and they'll be whittled down. This is only half of my thing. What we're going to do, right?
Is the other half where you tell us about the criteria for it?
Yeah. So now we come up with a team, and we'll do a line. We'll do a line.
I reckon that's the most sensible thing you've said all day.
Take the edge off.
No, but we then pick an offensive line and a defensive line of this we think have played well this season. This will be our team, and somehow we will put it into a program, whether it be Madden or something else.
Well, I was just going to say, why don't we pick up an offensive 11 and a defensive 11, or however many there are?
Like we did.
We'll play it exactly.
Well, between us, we'll come up with the best offensive team and the best defensive team. And then we play them on Madden, and then we'll make it available as a free episode, a bonus episode for our Patreon.
Yeah.
It'll be a full 15-minute quarters, and the score will be 85.
We will stream the whole thing
in slow motion,
and we will commentate on it.
Yeah, Edgy, we did this last time. Defense versus offense. Can you remember what happened?
Defense won, didn't they?
Defense won.
Yes. Always does.
By a point, I think.
I think it was really, very close.
But that's where I get my affinity with Dorian Taylor,
Johnson, Griffin,
Thompson.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we'll do between us.
I think that's good.
Yeah. Offense and defense.
Ultimate teams and awards.
Yeah. Well, we've got to agree with it. We've got to come down and we've got to agree with it.
Okay.
Brilliant. That's that done.
There will be no arguments at all.
None whatsoever when Rilson
lines up.
Are we going to argue? But we're going to have to agree on a system before we start.
How the fuck have we got to 3 hours and 5 minutes?
We let Daz talk a lot.
Just fucking ridiculous.
Although what we could do.
Oh, yeah. I was so close to wrapping it up then.
I've hovered over the leave button for about 20 minutes.
Like Daz in 2016.
No more for me.
He didn't hover, he was in there like a fucking job.
Guess what?
You'll come up with it.
qbscpod@gmail.com.
You can't beat an all-American Dickie.
Exactly.